What advice would you give to someone starting out in business?
I think you need to blend passion with viability. We are in an era where, yes, it is all well and good to follow what you're passionate about, and I do believe in that. But depending on where you're at in your stage of life, it also needs to be viable. So I think you got to find a happy medium between something that you love and feel strongly about, but that also is going to match your earning, potential or your earning goals. I think that's the first thing, is identifying that. The second thing is nothing happens overnight. So I think a lot of people think, cool, I want to grow a social account and earn $1 million a year. It's I've been in business with Clean Health now for 17 years and business in general for 2 decades. It took literally almost 20 years to go from 50,000 to 100,000 to 200,000 to 500,000. It took 20 years of time under the bar to get there. So time is a core thing. And I think the third and final thing is just go all the in. And it sounds so simple and it's very cliche, especially if you're in the first 3 stages of the abundance pyramid where it's more about self, and there's no family, there's no this and no that. It's you might have to work 60, 70, 80-hour weeks for periods, and definitely don't recommend that all the time. That's something where my advice used to be work all the time and do that because that's what I did. You've got to balance that out, but there are going to be seasons when you just have to do it. We speak about it often where, we've been in periods over the last 18 months with us acquiring all these companies where there has been 7 days where I am on the laptop 7 days where, we'll go out with the kids in the morning on a Sunday, then come back home and then I'm on the computer until after lunch and whatnot and stuff like that because we're in that season. But I think it's the first stage is, just being aware of the seasons and just rolling with the punches.
I think, the rolling with the punches, know when to ride it out. At the end of the day, it's going to ebb and flow. And, you talk about seasons.
And the fourth one is accepting the journey. I spoke before about it taking nearly 20 years to crack 8 figures. Even over last year, in essence, losing 7 figures on a business deal, you are going to have losses on the board, that duality thing, right? You're going to have loss on the board. But I think compared to the first time I lost $1 million, the first time I lost $1 million, I was destitute. I was crying, thinking I was going to throw in the towel. This time I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that I've lost the money because it's taught me a lesson that I needed to learn. So I think the fourth and fifth one is just that whole thing of acceptance, but then also grit. Because I think with acceptance and that time under the bar, same kind of circumstance in terms of the financial impact, but just a much different way of processing it now because I've experienced it before.
100%. But I also think a lot of what's helped you get to this point now is your personal growth. I think too often people forget personal growth. At the end of the day, being able to grow a business, you see a lot of, personal growth coaches, a lot of online businesses. If you've grown personally as yourself and you've done a lot of work on yourself, this whole journey is going to be much simpler and much easier as well.
So if you're in the first 5 years of your entrepreneurial journey, 70% of your investment into yourself should be on the actual skills needed in your business. There should be about at least 30% of that into personal development. When I did it, it was 100% just on the business, none on personal development. As you go from year 6 to 10, it's more 50-50, 50% business, 50% development. Then from year 10 onwards, it should be the reverse, 70% self and personal development, and then 30% the entrepreneurial skill sets that you actually need in your vertical.
100%.